wonderful thing. Okay, so how about to start, since you were at the St. Pat's focus group, can you tell us about what made you come to the St. Pat's talk that we had a week ago about water?
Because the water bill that I have, how the water flex up and down, the bill go up and down. That's what made me come to St. Pat to y'all water
Right.
function y'all was having.
Can you talk about what you mean by that? So how do you see it fluctuating so much?
Well, it's like if one person to me live alone, like I know how to manage water. Like, okay, if I take a shower, I get in the shower, I let the water run, get wet, cut it off, soap up, wash up, then turn it back on and rinse. Then when you flushing your toilet stool, you know when you flush it all the time, every time you flush it, that's fluctuate. So every time I don't flush my toilet stool all the time. This is beat number 2 movement. But it's always, they'll say, when you go in the office to ask them questions about the water, they always say they meter reads how we use the water. But my thing is how we know if they meter telling the truth. Because like I asked a question one day and the lady said, but you can't base it on that. I said, well, if you got 2 people living in the house taking a shower, or 3 people and 1 person, wouldn't the 3 people use more water than that 1 person if they know how to manage their water? Mm-hmm. And it should make their bill go down. Because my bill, basically anything I do, I learn how to manage it, make your bill stay low and stuff, like you unplug stuff and stuff like that to keep your bill low. But the water bill lately I've been having been high. Over like, I pay like $49, $40, but I've been paying $79 and stuff. That's high.
Wow. When did you notice that spike?
This spike was 2 months now.
Okay. And you said you haven't changed your habits at all?
No, the only thing, I had a toilet stool upstairs, and sometime the first month when I went and asked the lady, talked to her, she said, do you have, I know if any water running and stuff, that'll make that meter run faster. And I said, no. Then after she said, do you have a toilet stool with some when you flush it and you think it done filled up in the study? That happened to me twice. Because, okay, this toilet stool upstairs. So I replaced the toilet stool recently because it was getting stuck in between. But before that, before my bills, that even happened, the bills started fluctuating. So I said I needed to change the toilet stool from the get-go because it kept, and I said I did. So I should see a difference in my water bill because I don't let water just run because I know it spices up your bill on that meter goes real fast.
Mm-hmm. And what do they say when you tell them that you've already changed things like your toilet and you don't understand why it keeps going up?
Well, I haven't talked to them since I just changed the toilet a week ago since we talked to you guys.
Okay.
But like I said, I monitor them. Even when you talk to them, even about the days of the water bills, the first, second, and third, you know, if you late, you got to pay that late fee. Mm-hmm. But everybody don't get a check on first, second, and third. So you charging me a late fee when I done came and told you I can't pay on the second or the third because my money don't run like that. Mm-hmm. And I feel as though that's cheating us too and robbing us because that's how you getting your money for late fees. When people can't pay on those first, second, and thirds, then they say they can't change the dates. But I notice when you pay, like in the end of the month or whatever, in the middle, the date will change. But they say they can't change the date. That's what I don't understand.
So something as simple as just letting you choose when you want your due date to be.
Yeah, what's convenient for you to pay, come in and pay. Like I said, the first, second, and third, everybody don't get their money that day. And they can't come in that day. But they say they can't change it, and I don't understand why, because when I was late paying and days went by and I went in the middle, almost the end of the month, I got a bill to pay it on the 7th, the 8th. And I said, well, I thought they couldn't change a date. So I keep all my water bills So I'm like, and I just said, you can't change. She said, well, that's the way it is. And I'm like, okay. You know, you get tired of arguing with people about little simple stuff, and they'll get on the news and say, okay, we'll make it convenient for the people. We'll work with them. That's not true. They go in there and they talk smart to you and stuff like it's they bill, they water and stuff. So that's a problem I had. So like I said, one year I went to there, I call it the water court, where you go and they analyze what you said. And I'm like, went there. So they saw I knew how to manage my water, because like I told them, when you get in the shower, everybody don't do the same thing. Now, I understand that. But when I get in the shower, I get wet, I turn the water off, I wash up, I turn it back on and rinse off. I know how many times to flush my toilet and how many times not to before, because I know every time you flush it, that'll make it run up. So, and sometimes I take a bucket of water and I'll just pour it in there.
How do you learn to do those things? Like, where do you pick up those tips? Or like those
Well, see,
tricks?
back in the day, our mother and them taught us that. And then when DTE came out one time and they was analyzing stuff, how much a water tank costs and all like that. So learning from hearing different people come out and say things. And if you, like at St. Pat, they have for seniors to learn. But I learned that way before I got to St. Pat. So, but being around people that talk about stuff like that.
Okay. Do you know of others in the community who also are facing similar problems? They know how to manage but have high bills?
Yeah, like when we was at the St. Pat meeting and all of them was talking, basically we all said the same thing. Remember one lady said she turned her whole, what is the faucet off, not the meter, but the
valve.
Yeah, she turned the valve off. And they told her, she said she couldn't do that. She said, why? It's my water. So it's just, like you said, you get with other people. And like I said, the people at St. Pat, we all had the same problems within the water bill. And we wonder why some people water bill is low and some is very high. And then we know everybody don't do water the same way or use water the same way. You know, some people just let the water run. Even when I have my grandkids over here, I'm like, get some water, cut it off. It's just like when you open your refrigerator. It back and forth, it's telling you. So I learned, and I try to teach my grandkids how to maneuver in life, how to save a bill, not make a bill. You could make a bill very easy, but then like they say, you have to watch your water bill, because, and what frustrates me is they'll send a bill with a shut-off notice. I hate a threat. It could be $47, $50, and some people owe a water bill $500 and $600. And that's irritating, because I could show you the bills where them shut-off notice for minor stuff. I could see $40, $50, $70. You send a shut-off, then I say, you pay one bill, you end up paying two bills. Sometimes I pay two bills in 1 month when I could afford it, because I don't like them shut-off things. And then I say, okay, I just paid this. Well, we put the other bill into the other bill. I'm learning that, how one bill you pay, and then the next bill, but it's added with that bill you already paid.
Gotcha. So
if you don't know you done paid this one, you looking at, why my bill $140 some like they have sent me. And then they say, well, I say the money ain't even here yet. It's very confusing, especially for seniors. It's very confusing when it comes to that double bill.
Gotcha.
And like I say, they threaten you with that shut off for minor. 47, 50, 35, that's minor.
How often do they send those really seemingly small, like shut-offs for those small amounts? Is that something that happens all the time?
That happens all the time. They don't care. You could be paid and then they'll get it late. But we got it late. The other bill done came out. They done added the old bill with the new bill. So you got two bills in one. And it's confusing, because like they say, if you don't Remember, you paid that bill for that month.
Mm-hmm.
Then they'll have you paying still for 2 months.
So it seems like another simple thing that they could fix
Right.
to make it easier.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. Have you ever been in real danger of having your water shut off, or just those?
No, I like paying my bills full time, on time. But sometimes you run into problems where you can't. You in the hospital or you at home sick and can't get out. And a lot of people don't have family and friends to come and see about them and stuff like that. Sometimes your church member might come in, but they have their own thing. They can't do it all the time neither.
Right.
So it's kind of hard, like I said, when you can't get out and you run into a late fee because you couldn't get out or you was in the hospital. You couldn't meet that bill at that time.
Right. Have you seen people in your community have problems?
Yeah, a lot of
getting
them.
their water shut off, or?
Well, I believe when you don't pay your bill, your water should be shut off. But
Yeah.
some people pay their bills and still run into a problem and they still shut them off. And
Okay.
and then, like I said, they'll get on the news and say, we'll work with you. But then when you go in there, they're so snobby and nasty and tell lies. So that's not true.
So I think you mentioned the water court. So what made you go to water court? What brought you there?
My bill was real high. It was real high. And I didn't know they had that set up where you could go there. So they told me about it and said we can make an appointment if you want to come in, and I did. Me and my girlfriend, we went in, and they had a lawyer for the water company, and them big words I can't say, the adversary person. Both of them was for the water company, the lawyer and them, but they was like we doing now. They was talking to me and they was saying, well, how do you set up this and that with the water? And I told them, I said, first of all, like I told you, I know how to manage the water. I don't get in a shower or a tub and just let it overflow and then constantly. And every day, I don't take a shower every day. I might take a shower once out of that week and wash up the rest of the week, Well, some people that I know that I deal with go to their house, that I take a shower. They take a shower every day, and it be 3 and 4 of them. And I'm like, well, how do they bill be less than mine, and mine be higher?
Right.
When it's just me. When you know how to manage something, somebody that taught you how to manage it, it makes a difference. And then they said, no, you can't compare the two. I said, I'm comparing what I see. When I go to my friend's house or some house and it's 3 or 4 of them, you using more water than I'm using because it's just me. And some people, just because they by themselves, don't mean they know how to use water all the time neither. I do. So it make a difference. I do. I know how to serve for lights and stuff like that. My light ain't supposed to be on. I know better.
I'm sorry.
That's all right, but that's all right.
So when it comes to your drinking water, at St. Pat's, a lot of people had mentioned that they don't drink their water. They don't feel like it's safe or clean. How do you feel
From
about
the
drinking water?
I don't trust none of the water.
No?
Nope.
How come?
Because anything could be contaminated. Even the bottled water contaminated. Man make all this stuff, so what is safe? We just got better pray and hope it's safe. Tap water and bottled water. But I drink either or. I drink either or because, like I say, how do we know what's safe?
Okay. Do you know a lot of people who don't drink the Detroit water?
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't drink a couple of neighbors down the street, they're in the next, but they don't drink tap water. They drink bottled water. And I laugh at them.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I tell them, how you know that water's safer than that water? We just taking a chance, that's all. And that's true, we taking a chance. We could go pour something in the water now, in the bottled water. I'm working on a line, and somebody put something in some water, so how do we know it's safe?
Do you know anything about how the city of Detroit cleans or manages its water?
They showed it on TV, but I don't remember all that. And like I said, you could clean anything. It's just like we had Tampa meat, Tampa this, whatever. It's all processed by man. Man doing stuff. So how do we know what they ain't putting in it? Or somebody put something in it. It's like you see one thing episode, it's a episode in the food, the cabbage, the chicken, the whatever. So how do we know about water?
Yeah, that's true. So I have a couple questions here that we've sort of talked a little bit about, but I'd just like to kind of go over them like in a little bit more detail. I know you haven't had your water shut off, but you mentioned that you think that people need to pay their bills. So can you kind of tell me what you think? I don't know. Do you think the city is handling the water shutoffs well, or do you think that someone is to blame for the water shutoffs that have been happening since 2014?
I just think they're not managing it right and talking to people right. Don't say one thing right because you on the camera, and then when we go into the office, it's well, this is how it's going to be. That's how they say, talk to you. This is how it is. This is your bill. And I'm like, no, it could be better. It could be better. If you say there's a program out there for us, make it better for us. When we come in your office, make a better program for us, or those who really need it. Just don't get on there saying, make it look pretty. And then, like I said, when you go in that office, it's terrible. We can't help you. And then it might be one out of a million that say, okay, this is what we're going to do. But the rest of them, I ain't saw. I've had 2 people to deal with that really say, okay, this is the problem. I had the rest of them, that snobby attitude.
A lot of people have complained about that.
Then they had them long lines outside. Everybody getting mad to get into the place. And that's why you hear a lot of elderly people say, I don't like going on the first, second, and third because it's too crowded. You got to stand outside so long. Some people can't stand that long on walkers and stuff. And you got some people like me. I don't use my walker and cane all the time.
Gotcha.
I be trying to say really shy of it, shame of it, but being I know I need it, so I use it when I need it. But you got a lot of people need it all the time, and they can't stand in them long lines.
Yeah.
And they used to have a drop-off box. They don't have that no more.
Huh.
Why, I don't know.
Gotcha.
They used to have a drop-off box. They don't have that no more.
So they're just not doing a very good job of catering to
not to the people,
their
really.
residents. Do you have any other ideas or suggestions about what could help the population more? Like, what other things do you need that you're not getting from the water department or from the city?
They just need to listen to the people more to get a better idea, to come up with a better plan for those who really just disabled, that really can't get out as fast as they want them to. And like to say that late spending, when you late that fee, it shouldn't be penalized. You shouldn't be penalized just because you can't meet their date. And I don't think it's fair. Like I said, when they said they can't change it, I found out that that's not true, because in that middle of the month it was changed, and I felt more comfortable because it wasn't like a rush, and then it wasn't like that late fee.
Right.
That made it better, because everybody, they think $1, $5 or whatever, it mean a whole lot to people, because everybody's income is not the same.
Right. How much is the late fee? Do you know offhand?
No, I don't forget. But you just add up all them late fees.
Right, yeah, that's probably
Right.
2 or 3 extra bills you're paying a year
Right.
if it keeps happening. Have you ever tried to access any resources for help outside of the official water utility? Have you heard of things like People's Water Board Coalition, or there are a few different like groups throughout.
Like
Detroit.
when you need help for your water, pay your water bill and
Yeah,
stuff.
have you tried to use any of those, or have you heard of
I
them?
never got to that point. Like I said, I went to that water court thing, and I passed it because they saw. And then when the guy said to me about the sewer, and he said that they lawyer, he said, don't ask me, ask her. I said, well, what is the sewer fee? What are we paying sewer fee for? What's the extra for the fee of the sewer? What the sewer got to do with us? And they was trying, but it didn't make sense to me. The sewer didn't make sense to me, so.
Gotcha. Yeah, it seems a lot of people are confused about
Right.
sewer rates. Does it seem to be a newer thing that they're talking about, the sewer rates? Have you noticed that in the past?
I don't know, I just
It's just new.
try to listen to it, but I forget a lot of it, trying to remember all of it and what they tell you, but it still don't make sense to me. The sewer and the water, you paying for the sewer, and I'm like, it don't make sense.
Do you think that you pay a fair price for your water? Or what do you think a fair price would be?
Well, ask me about a fair price, because to be honest, I couldn't tell you what a fair price, what would be a fair price. Because I could say $47, okay, but okay.
Yeah.
I just believe in, if you use something, you should pay for it. But it should be also respected by us, not trying to overcharge us for something we don't do. Like I say, we don't know if they meter's telling us right. They say, well, if the meter read that they're reading, and then the meter in the basement is the same, how do we know it's right? That's their meter. These are the new meters they done put in for the water stuff. So how do we know it's right?
Yeah. Have you asked them to change the meter, or to come look at it, or to show you that it's correct in any way?
Yeah, the lady told me to go home and read the meter. She wrote the numbers down on the paper, on my bill. And she said, if it's when you go home, go in the basement, read it. If it's the same, that means it's all right. But how do I know that? I came home and read it, the numbers was the same, but that's electronic stuff. That's they stuff.
Gotcha.
So they could tell us anything, because it's electronic. But yeah, when I asked her to come out, no, they weren't coming out. You know, they used to come out and read your meter, and no, but now you want to come out, they want to charge you.
Really?
Charge you for coming out. Charge you for everything for coming out. I'm like,
I didn't know that.
right. I just recently asked about, it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, when I went to the water company, because my bill like ran 79, it kept. And I'm like, well, why is this so high? And I can understand if I run some water and say I walk away, let it run, or I can understand. Like when the lady reminded me of the toilet stool, I said, okay, that was my fault. It was running.
Mm-hmm.
But then the next one, I'm like, come on now.
Got it fixed. We got it fixed already.
Right.
And I'm sure that's not cheap on your end either, even just replace things like the toilet when it acts up.
Right. No, it wasn't. Like, even when you wash, like you say, I talk to other people, older people back, and remember a guy, when they was analyzed, he said, how often do you wash? So I was saying, I wash 3 times out a week. He said, well, who all stay with you? I said, just me. He said, well, why you just don't wash once a week? It made a difference. Why would I wash clothes all that time?
Yeah.
All them times. And he was, and I said, well, why is you saying it? He said, because it'll cut down on your water bill. Makes sense. Ain't nobody here but me. You got some people wash every day. Some people wash every other day. Some people wash twice out of a week and stuff.
Did you notice a difference after
It was
you
a
changed?
different. It was a different.
That's good.
It was a different.
Okay. I think have you heard any other problems in the community about people having, problems with their bills or shut-offs, or with even flooding or things like that associated with water? Any other things that you could talk
Flooding. They have, so some of us have flooding. I have flooding sometimes.
Really?
They mess with my basement.
How frequently?
Well, it ain't that often. It's just if it's a real bad rain, and you never know when it's gonna flood.
Do you know why it happens? Just is it just like the building, or is it something else?
The sewers, the what you call them things I just said outside. The what you call them?
The
Drainage.
The drainage
There
thing,
you go.
right?
Culvert, is that right?
The
like the ones outside on the
yeah,
road?
the one outside. Some of them be stopped up, backed up. Then in the alley pods where they're at, they be stopped up, drained up. Like one back there stopped up, and me and another lady, the door after this one, called to had them to clean the drainage. They cleaned that one, I think, but that one has not never been cleaned. The other one, they like side by side.
So they did half of it.
Right, so it makes a difference. I see.
Yeah.
When the drainage is clean, it makes a difference.
Are they supposed to keep clean? Like, is that part of what you're paying for?
I guess.
You would think.
How
right?
would our water flow if all of the? You say the drain? They say the drainage. So if the drainage stopped up, how it's gonna flow?
Right. That's frustrating. Anything else that you
No.
can think of?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you think that there should be like a sliding scale for water? Like if you pay what you earn or something along those lines? And then answer to
Yeah,
look at the
it should be a level balance of where people with a low income can pay their bills. Everybody can't pay their bills because their income is not higher than everybody's income different. Low income people fall short. It should be a balanced payment for them. People that don't pay their bill, they should get a shut off. I mean, you got some people abuse the water system, and it's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that don't abuse it pay for the ones that abuse.
Right.
Don't make sense.
How do you? So this is something that I'm struggling with. So I'm just gonna pose it, throw it out there, okay? How do you think you can it's hard to tell the difference, right? If there's a missed payment and then someone just not paying. How do you figure out that someone's abusing the system or they're just struggling? It's like
That's a
weird
great
line.
question. That's a great question. Until you get to, I guess you have to talk to that person. You have to analyze it and see for yourself. Because if you had came in here and I was struggling, actually struggling, I'm going to show you I'm struggling to pay my bill. And if a person ain't struggling, you got some actors out here, but you got to weigh the difference. You got to weigh the difference because it'll tell off eventually if you the actor getting over and you the real person struggling. It'll tell the difference.
That just takes more work, right?
Right, right. But in this life is work. And that's all it is, work. Analyzing, trying to keep everything straight.
Kelly, do you have any other questions? Or I don't want.
I guess like I always ask like what is your greatest hope about the water, like the water situation in Detroit? Like what do you hope would change to make your interaction with Detroit water, DWSD, Detroit Water and Sewer Department, like better? Does that make sense?
We all come together and work together, and that the water can stay pure. We hope it don't get contaminated. And if we all work together, it'll be a great happening of better. If we all look out for one another in the water, even the people that work in the water department, the people that use the water, if we come together and work together, it'll be a better place for water.